Hi, kindergarten friends. It's time for today's interactive read aloud. And today we're going to be reading the book called My Steps. This story was written by Sally Derby and Ajoa Burrows. Let's take a look at the front cover. What do we see? We see 3 friends. Do you think it's summer or winter? Why do you think that? Yeah, it looks like they were in shorts, tank tops, and eating a popsicle. Definitely the way you dress and something you eat on a hot day. My Steps by Sally Derby and Ajoa Burrows. These are my steps, all 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can hop up from 1 to 5 and down from 5 to 1 on just 1 foot. Whenever it's a pretty day, I play on my steps while cars and buses swoosh down the street and people walk by on the sidewalk. Sometimes I know the people, and then I say, "Morning, Mrs. Johnson." "Afternoon, Preacher Jones." But my mom always says, "Don't you go talking to strangers." So I don't. I look away. Why do you think her mom says don't talk to strangers? Because she doesn't think it's safe. At the top of my steps is the stoop where I play with my friend Essie. Every morning before Essie comes, I bring the broom out and I sweep away all the dirt and the ants and the bugs and the glass if some got broken in the night. It's very responsible of her. My stoop has sides, 2 walls made of bricks. When I was 5, I could see over them. When I was 5, I couldn't see over them. Now I'm so big, those walls are only up to here on me. Okay, so we see there she is at 5 years old, and she's standing on her tiptoes to see over the wall. And now we see her now, much bigger. So do you think she's 5 or older than 5? Older. Essie and I pretend the walls are horses, and we climb up and ride. Sometimes, when my mom's not looking, we stand on the horses' backs like the lady in the circus. Why do you think they do this when her mom's not looking? Yeah, her mom would probably tell them it's not safe. Springtime mornings, my steps are shady, cool, and hard and smooth. If I lie on the top step, all down my back, I feel shivery cool. If I lie on my stomach, I could see crooked cracks in the cement. I pretend the cracks are rivers. Once I took a piece of green paper and I tore it into little pieces, and I crumbled up the pieces and made bushes all along the rivers. She's very creative. Essie and I like to color. She sits on 2 and puts her paper on 3. I sit on 4 and put my paper on 5. That way we each have our own desk, just like in school. But if we don't put away our crayons, that old sun can melt them so they stick to the steps. It takes a lot of scraping when the crayons stick to cement. What does she mean if she says, Essie sits on 2 and puts her paper on 3? I don't see any numbers. Yeah. Essie sits on step number 2, 1, 2, and Essie puts her paper on the 3rd step. Some days when the sun's so bright, it makes me squint. If I ask and ask, my mom brings out a blanket and hangs it from wall to wall. Then Essie and I, we have a shady cave where we sit and tell secrets so quietly, people walking by don't even know we're there. That looks fun, doesn't it? I have another friend, that's Nicholas, and when he comes, we all play Stone School. Here's how we play. I'm teacher first, because they're my steps. I put my hands behind my back and hide a little stone. Then I put my hands out in front. Essie and Nicholas sit on 1, that's kindergarten, and they take turns guessing which hand. When they guess right, they get to move up to 1st grade, and whoever gets to 4th grade first gets to be the teacher next. I love that. That sounds like a fun game. So when you start the game, what grade do you start at? Yep, you start at kindergarten, and they start all the way at the bottom, and as they get them right, they get to move up the steps until they get to the 4th step, and they're in 4th grade, they say, and then they get to be the teacher. Sometimes on summer afternoons when the cement is hot through your shoes, the firemen open up the hydrant near my steps. The water shoots out and splashes down the street. Kids I don't even know come running, till my ears are full of shouting and laughing. We get our clothes wet and our faces wet and our hair wet, and we kick and splash and run till the firemen close the hydrant. Does that sound like fun? What is that white? What are these white lines? Yeah, that's the water. After, Mom lets us each have a popsicle as we sit on my steps in our wet clothes and forget all about being hot. Have you seen this picture before? You certainly have. Looks like the seasons are changing. Summer is better than fall, and hot is better than cold. But I keep my steps clean even when Mom says it's too cold to play on them. Before school, I sweep away all the leaves. If the leaves were wet, I have leaf prints on my steps like shadow leaves. When I come home from school, the leaf prints are gone, but I have more leaves to sweep. How many of you have swept leaves or raked leaves at your house this fall? After fall, winter comes shivering in. I shovel the snow and scrape the ice, but that's hard. When I finish, my mom says, "Girl, let me feel that muscle." Even in the winter, I'm glad I have my steps, all 5 of them. How do you think the girl's mom feels about her? I think she's proud of her for always taking care of her steps, isn't she? She says, "You must have some big muscles from shoveling all that snow." And when I come back from away, I run up the steps like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I push open the door and I shout, "I'm home." Do you have steps at your house? You might have steps inside. Do you like to go up and down steps quickly? In this story, the steps in this little girl's life are so important to her. How do we know that the steps outside her house are important? She takes care of them in all seasons. When it's hot and cold, when there are leaves out, she cleans them off and she sweeps a lot. That's pretty awesome. Do you think that the main character in this story lives in the country or the city? Yeah, it looks like she lives in a busy city. At the beginning, she was talking about seeing people pass by. She would say hello and say hello to them by their name. She may live in a big apartment building. How does the little girl have fun with her steps? She and her friends play games. Yep, they play Stone School, and when it's super hot, she and her friend like to kind of make a little fort with a blanket, make color outside. Do you have something at your house or a place you like to go that makes you happy? You might like a porch, your front porch or your deck, or maybe your yard. I hope you enjoyed this story called My Steps. Have a great day.